Thank you very much, Dominic. It is 16 minutes to 9. What has happened to the good old sport of mountain climbing, a sport in which Britain has traditionally excelled? Can it survive and prosper in an age of extreme sports? Will Gadd is an adventurer who climbs, but he does a lot of other things as well. Kayaking, paragliding, caving. He's been telling the Royal Geographical Society about his life. Alan Hinkes is an old-style climber. He's on the line from Cleveland. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Will, first of all, what did you tell them about your life?
Basically that if you quit your job and go climbing and adventuring, it's an all right thing to do and a lot of fun. So that, and then also a little bit about a group called Porters Progress, which advocates for porters in countries all over the world.
And you call yourself an adventurer rather than a climber?
Yeah, well, climbing's just one thing I do. I mean, I started out as a climber. That's my family history. My mother only stopped climbing when she was pregnant with me when she could no longer see her feet. So that's how it started. But then I sort of got sidetracked into kayaking and all of these other great mountain sports.
And when you say you got sidetracked, is that because you think climbing isn't enough? Actually doesn't do it for you anymore?
No, I've just got a short attention span, really. It's just a lot of fun. These other sports are great. You go. I live in Canada, and so it's quite cold. So you go ice climbing all winter, and then you do a bit of kayaking in the spring, and you have
You're kayaking up a mountain or something.
Well, that, next time you'll read about it in the newspaper. Man kayaks to the summit of Everest. Thank you for the idea. I'll go to work on that.
Well, Alan Hinkes, there you are. That's the future. An old-style mountain climbing. It's a bit old hat now.
Well, perhaps State Umbridge has been called an old-style mountain climber. I mean, I do actually go rock climbing in Spain, in the sun, and Turkey, and all over the world. And I do, this weather is fantastic.
But do you do it in the old style, which is just going up it and not, as John suggests, trying to kayak down again afterwards?
Well, I do it in all styles. I mean, Will is a pretty a bit of a hero of mine. He's a bit of a gnarly bloke there. But I mean, I live in North England here, and it is freezing at the moment. And I'm hoping that the waterfalls are going to freeze, so I can go out and ice climb them. So I do all the disciplines of climbing myself. I've been known to go potholing in Yorkshire as well. But I think Will there is actually, pushing the boundaries a bit with extreme sort of stuff, climbing icebergs and whatever.
Well, because it's not got the purity of appeal that traditionally climbing Everest might have had.
Well, I guess Everest, plenty of people have climbed Everest, you could say now. Well, 3,000 people have. I guess Britain is noted for what we call traditional climbing, which means we do the adventurous sort of climbing where we put the protection in ourselves, whereas more and more people are doing what's known as sport climbing, which is bulk rock climbing in the sun. We have to be a bit tougher in Britain because it's a bit wetter and a bit greasier as the rocks. So I guess that's what we mean by old-style climbing. We sort of stick at it here and suffer a bit more in Britain.
Yeah, you said, Will Gadd, that British mountains are small, wet, cold and nasty.
I think I added sheep infested to that.
Yeah. I thought that was a step too far.
Oh, sorry about that. Well, it's always amazed me. I never understood. Everywhere I'd go in the world, there'd be these British mountaineers, people like Alan, doing these amazing things. Yet if you look around, I think there's no point that's higher than about 6,000 feet. I mean, that's probably adding a couple thousand feet to it all. Ben Nevis.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and so why are they out there doing all these amazing things?
You learn to walk before you can run, don't you? Or whatever the climbing equivalent of that is.
I'm surrounded by mountains, but, you've got all these people out doing these amazing things. And I think it's because everywhere else they go in the world, it's quite pleasant by comparison. And then they're in the Himalaya and it's dry, and there's Alan going up. It's amazed me.
Alan?
Yeah, well, I mean, I do try and use these jump on flights and go rock climbing in the sun, believe it or not. I'm not a total masochist. I do like nice climbing if I can, but I am used to suffering. I think I was brought up traditionally, and we'd go out climbing in the wet, or we'd go potholing when it was raining, because you're going to get wet anyway, so you might as well go underground. Yeah.
I think one of the things that Alan seems to be suggesting, Will Gadd, about you as well, is that it's all a bit flashy and actually, in a sense, not as dangerous and exciting and adventurous as it sounds, because some of the climbing you do is not quite as leaving it up to you and your abilities as the sort of climbing that Alan does, the traditional climbing, the old-style climbing.
Well, I'm happy to take that charge because it's one that's been going on for a long time, right? You've got Shackleton and Amundsen and Scott, right? So this is an old debate between doing it the right way and suffering a lot, or going out and having a really good time and getting it done and actually completing the project.
I'm moving over to having a good time more and more, to be honest.
You're becoming convinced, aren't you?
You can go up.
That's not meant to happen. You're meant to argue.
No agreement here, Alan.
Yeah, well, Well, I usually go sport climbing over Christmas, New Year in Spain, where it's a bit drier and sunnier. But this year I might hang around if it's going to stay this cold, because there could be some waterfalls to climb when they freeze.
On the flash side, though, I think it's quite nice. You see these climbing walls in school gyms and so on, and kids are getting into climbing, and there's a bigger and bigger gene pool out there getting involved in the sport, and that's great. And you see these kids, they have a great time, and they don't necessarily have to frostbite a finger and lose an ear to get out there and have a good one.
Well, that's wonderful news for them and their mums. Alan Hinkes and Will Gadd, you're both an advertisement for the sport, if it is the same sport that you both do. Thank you both very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
It's 10 to